Well, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Anybody hear like a little show called Rick and Morty?
Woo! Yeah. If you do not, you are in the wrong panel.
We have an awesome panel for you tonight with the lovely, wonderful, amazing Kari, the voice of Jessica.
And
And so many other voices too. Come to her general panel tomorrow talking about all of the work. We're going to have some trivia, surprises, WUBBA LUBBA DUB DUB, and some Q&A too.
We're going to find out who are really fast. Listen, I could emerge from behind the curtain, but it just seems like a lot of effort, you know? So, just like, hi, this is my intro. Did you bring enough popcorn to share with the rest of the class, young man? just like snacking away. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. Yes, we're gonna talk about some Rick and Morty stuff and do some trivia and some things like that. So,
yeah, to break the ice, I think we had a couple trivia questions.
all right.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna start on a couple.
Raise your hand if you know it.
And if you know it, raise your hand. We're gonna get an answer from you. What school do Morty and Summer go to?
No, I know what school it is.
Okay. Any takers? Anything?
Any guesses?
You all are liars!
Oh.
What is the Harry Burton stuff?
what?
Harry Burton?
Okay, we're
Close
giving it
enough.
Harry Hempson High School. But give that man a prize because he's super close. All right, so this is how it's going down, you guys. These are some serious questions.
Blame the internet.
Okay, what is a schmeckle? Oh,
Isn't that something that Columbus is made out of?
no! Yes!
Currency.
Currency.
That was 21. That's good.
Okay. I'm skipping ahead on just because this one makes me laugh. Oh my gosh, and the person that gets this one gets a pickle Rick. So listen, the stakes just got very high, guys. All right. What item does Rick pretend is a weapon to scare off villagers during the purge? This guy over here, this guy,
You saw that one first?
I saw this guy first.
Okay, I'm gonna.
No pressure, but if you get this wrong, you're dead to me.
No.
This guy. I see you.
I remember.
All right, were you going to say Tic Tacs on your honor? Okay.
I was gonna say.
All right. You might still get a prize just because you don't stop. We can say that, right? Is this at least a PG-13 panel? Okay, that's what okay. I have to edit some of my stories. All right. What is the name of Rick's favorite arcade?
I saw this one first.
I saw that guy first.
What's and chips?
Yes.
Whips and
Swifty. Was you? Yep.
okay, so one more, and then we will move on to Q&A. If you guys are into that sort of thing. Which dimension does Rick belong to?
So this one here first. That's the easiest one.
C-137.
Yes.
C-137. All right. I got the 137 here because I just totally jinxed him out of it.
Oh no, the red piece.
Okay, dude right there is raising his hand. He had the Tic Tac. So we're giving him a prize.
All right.
Just because I say so. And I know now listen, we got more trivia, so we'll get back to the trivia, but I'm told there are questions. Hopefully, I'm so nervous.
And just remember, folks, if it hasn't been announced officially, Kari can't give you an answer.
Yes, this is my one thing, you guys, that I can't talk about anything in the future. Or ninjas will come down out of the walls and blow dark poison into my neck.
Okay, this is
And
awesome.
it's going to be a really short thing.
All right, so folks, if you come up to the mic here and line up, and we'll do questions one at a time. Try to stay, at least a little bit distance in the line. Matt here is going to come down and double check everybody's questions, make sure we don't have any duplicates or really weird things. If you have a question, come on up, and we'll run until 10 minutes.
That's cool, yeah.
Well, this is
I guess while we're waiting, I can just say hi.
and then we can
You guys want to? Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, while we're just trying to get the people, I can tell you just a tiny bit of backstory about how I got involved with Rick and Morty. So, Justin Roiland and I were on a Disney show called Fish Hooks. So I played I see you. Fish Oils. One of my favorite girls. I loved playing her. She was just so extra. So Justin was on that show, and so we kind of crossed paths a few times and everything, and then I think we were at Comic-Con, and we finally got to talk about it. He had fallen off the stage and like scraped up his knee and stuff, and it was all bloody. So we're like, hi, it's so great to meet you. But anyway, so he's like, oh, I got this show, and made a pilot of it, and got me picked up, and now we're doing this little show. And I don't know if he specifically requested for me to audition for Jessica, or if it just went out to all the different agents and it happened to get in front of me. But I auditioned for the role and ended up getting the part. And I think that they had a different actress when they pitched the show to the network, but then it didn't work out for some reason. They actually recast a couple of people from that little pitch. And so I was one of them, and I was lucky enough to take the prize. And from there, they kept writing her into some episodes, which was really cool. And then there was one time where I was doing like 1 or 2 lines for Rick's ship, and I just started making things up like, turn left, you idiot. If you had no brain, you would go straight. And they were like, wouldn't that be funny if we did an episode about the car, like where the car was giving me crap and stuff like that. So that actually sparked the Keep Summer Safe episode, which I love so much because I always wanted a navigation that was just like you, that's how you tell. So anyway, so that's how I got involved with the show, and luckily they've continued to write me in with playing all these little side parts and stuff like that. So backstory. So let's take your questions.
Hi, I was wondering, do you enjoy reading the Rick and Morty fan theories? Tons of them.
Oh my gosh, I have not. I have not. But I can say that one of the more interesting things that has happened to me at a convention is that I had a guy who really, really, really loved Jessica bring up some very explicit fan fiction. And of course, every once in a while you'll get somebody that's like, hey, can you read a scene that I wrote? And, I'm like, okay, well, if it's super short, because, there's a line of people, and we started reading this, and I'm like, oh, no. No. And, yeah, so, pretty fast, but that's, yeah. There's some fan fiction out there, isn't there?
Thank you for your answer.
Scary.
Unless we're told specifically otherwise, can we assume that the Rick we're seeing is C-137?
A little louder?
Unless we're specifically told otherwise, can we assume that the Rick we're seeing is C-137?
You can assume nothing on Rick and Morty. Sit down!
Is this close enough?
A little louder, a little louder.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is this close enough? Okay. You kind of brought up earlier how you did some improv while voicing like some of the characters on Rick and Morty. And considering some of the appeal of the show is like Justin Roiland's improv, is there any particular like memories you have of either him improvising or you coming up with something on the spot that like really sticks out with you?
Yes, actually. Okay, I think this is PG-13. So very, very early on, it might have even been in the first episode where Morty has his dream, his little fantasy dream. We improvised so much more of what Jessica was saying in that section. It was just like, just bounce those like sugar ray, just pound it hard like a hammer and a nail. Just pound it like you know, the runty kid in dodgeball in high school. So we did so many more improvs of that than ended up in the show, and we were just laughing a lot. But I think my favorite still to this day, and I wasn't there when they recorded it, but when Justin loses it as Pickle Rick, and they animated it. Have you guys seen this yet? If you haven't seen it, Google Justin cracking up as Pickle Rick, and he just had this thing where he just lost it in the studio and he was laughing so hard that he couldn't get through the lines, and they all animated it to the pickle, and I just literally almost peed my pants. It's so funny. So if you ever just need to laugh,
Not here.
your butt off, look that up because it's some of the funniest. I can't even call it improvising because he just was losing it, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Hi again.
Hi.
What is your favorite episode?
Oh man. Okay. Maybe the shy pooper. Episode.
That's a good one.
That one made me laugh really, really hard. But I also have to say that I'm a huge fan of Snowball and Snuffles. So every once in a while I'll just think to myself, where are my balls? And it never fails to just make me laugh. I'm just like, I neutered my cats. If there's ever a second coming, I know it's gonna happen. So yeah, that episode also just cracks me up. So
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
Good evening. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm doing well so far. I have not been booed off the stage, so this is good.
I think I can speak for everyone and say thank you so much for being here. So my question is, over time, it's clear that Jessica comes in more and more and more. How did you feel when they started just including her more, having her be more of a character to the point where we get like the all-knowing Jessica?
Oh gosh.
So yeah, how was it?
You know, it was so lovely and awesome, and because I have to say, in this business, you just never assume anything. Like I've been recast on things. I've replaced other people. I've lost jobs that I really wanted. All these things happen, so you just never want to get your hopes up too much about something. And this is just my philosophy as I've done this. So this has been so wonderful because Dan and Justin were just so loyal to their cast and kept using us season after season. And when the show just blew up and became this huge, huge hit, I thought, man, they're probably not going to bring me in as much, but they kept bringing me in for episodes. And then they started doing this fun stuff with Jessica. She has the whole little kind of pseudo adventure with Rick, and then the Time God episode. I mean, I got the script for that one, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is so awesome. Like, it's just one of those dream episodes for your little character that started out and stuff like that. So it's been really awesome. I'm hoping, I don't know. It'd be nice to see even more done with her, but we'll have to see. I don't know.
your meat suits do you think you could take on like?
That's an excellent question.
I like that.
Wow. Well, I can say that two guys dressed up as them at a convention, and it was a tussle, but we bonded over some secret sauce, and yeah, I could take a few.
Thank you.
Other questions? We can open it up to, we can open it up to general voiceover questions too.
okay. What was it like working as Charmcaster on Ben 10?
All right, we'll take a quick segue to Ben 10. Charmcaster was awesome. That was also another cool thing as far as, whenever they reboot a show, there's never a guarantee that you're going to get to play your character again. So, again, my fatalistic attitude of never getting attached to anything. I got to play Charmcaster in 3 versions of Ben 10, and so that was really special. And I just really loved that character. And they made her sexier in some parts and kookier and crazier in other parts and more evil in certain ones. So they did a lot of interesting things with that character. And I got to work with Dwayne McDuffie on that one, which rest in peace. Like, he was amazing. And I hear through the grapevine that he had more plans for that character, and we'll never get to do it. But yeah, loved that show.
Hello again.
Hi.
I met you yesterday at the Unwrap panel.
Yes.
We talked briefly about Return to Robin.
Yes.
And you mentioned that there was a scene. It was the closest you ever got to crying in the booth.
Oh,
without any spoilers, can you elaborate?
Okay, so if you haven't seen Return to Robin, it's a lovely, very cinematic, kind of serious anime. It's one of those ones that's very character-driven and it's got a little bit of a slower, unveiling pace. So, if you want giant mech robots, it's not that show, but I love it. Witchcraft. It's got witches in it. And I can't say too much, but there's just a scene towards the very, very, very end of the series where something sad happens. And we record a lot of times in the dark. So you're in a dark little studio, especially with anime, and you're by yourself. And the character is crying and something really sad has happened. And I just got super emotional, and so I'm just like, okay guys, no, just keep rolling the tape. It's just fine. And so we were using it and stuff like that, and after we got done, they're like, do you need a break? Do you want to take a few minutes? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally good guys, we can keep going. But yeah, it was one of the shows that I actually really got emotional with what was happening.
I think you're the one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi again.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, my favorite role of yours is Kagami on Lucky Star. I wanted to ask, do you have any experiences during that role or anything to talk about?
Man, with that one, it was just, again with anime, you never get to record with other people because you're syncing everything up to picture. Like when we do Rick and Morty, there's a couple different ways of recording things in voiceover, and maybe you guys have learned this already, so forgive me if I'm repeating it, but with anime, it's already been created in Japan or some other country, and so you have the picture in front of you, and so you have to sync every single line up to a pre-existing picture. So you can't take pauses in the line if you want to. You have to fit what's in the mouth flap. And pre-mask days, I can give you like an example of it, but I can't with the mouth mask because it won't transfer. But if your mouth is like, you can't say, I love you, I've always loved you, and I'll love you until the day I die. Marry me, because the mouth is just going like this. So you have to just say, I love you. Always. Something like that. So the difference is with Rick and Morty is that, you're recording the vocals first, and then they send it somewhere and they animate it to you. So if I take loads of pauses, they'll animate lots of pauses. So it's just two very different ways of working. So we didn't get to work together on Lucky Star, but it was such a great cast. And, you know, we would cross paths and just some really wonderful women in that. Wendy Lee, Michelle Rupp was in it. And Kakami was such a character that reminded me of myself when I was younger, because she was kind of book smart and a little tightly wound and type A, but she loved her friends and she had kind of a little bit of a romantic streak, so I don't know. She appealed to my geeky younger side. She would have had braces and it would have been perfect.
Thank you. Aside from Jessica, who is your favorite Rick and Morty character?
My favorite Rick and Morty character. Does it have to be one that I've voiced or just in the show in general?
Who's in the show?
You guys, I love Jerry. Dude cannot get a break, and it's just like, I find myself just like, oh my God, you just need a break. So he just makes me smile and just like breaks my heart all the time. So I'm very much Team Jerry, and then probably Snowball. Snowball is yeah. I don't know why. Where are my balls?
Hi there.
Hi.
So you answered bits and pieces of this maybe, but I was just curious about the dichotomy between working on an adult cartoon show and a children's cartoon show, and like where your mind is at.
Oh, okay. So for anybody that couldn't hear that, it's what's the difference between working on an adult cartoon show and a children's cartoon show? And I'm going to tell you that the dirtiest, filthiest, awful things that are said off mic are always in the kids shows. Like the preschool shows are the filthiest. Yeah, and because you're getting out, I guess all of you're getting all of your nastiness out in the script, in the adult stuff. But like, I'm so glad that they're not rolling with some of the stuff that's been said in some of the preschool and children's shows. So that's the biggest thing. But I will say also, it's very, very interesting because as you work on different ages of cartoons, and I've been fortunate enough to work on everything from preschool to stuff like, you know, Rick and Morty and Archer. And you have to be very careful about your reads for each age group because, like, especially if you're playing villains, if it's for preschool, you have to really soften it. So, you know, you can't be this kind of villain for preschool because it's too scary for the kids. So you have to be this kind of villain for kids. You have to be a little bit more, not quite so threatening. And you know, if you play one of the parents, you can't be too hard on the kid or too snarky because you don't want them to feel like mom and dad are gonna, you know, let them down in any way. So you always have to be kind of just a little bit sweet when you're playing with parents, you know. I'm not gonna beat you if you don't eat your dinner, I swear. Yeah, so then as you get older with the audience range, you can kind of get more and more, I don't know, sophisticated or just kind of edgy with some of your characterizations of things. So, yeah.
Hello. What was it like to work with Rick and Morty in the movie Tangled?
Oh my gosh, I wish that I could say that I got to work with her, but I didn't. I did all of her scratch work. So basically what that means is that, so sometimes when they're doing a feature film, sometimes they haven't cast the celebrity yet, so they don't know who they're going to cast. So they need somebody to come in and do scratch vocals, which they know that ultimately they're going to replace, but that helps the animators and the storyboard artists kind of figure out the script and how they want to animate something. So you may work on scratch vocals for a movie for like years. Sometimes you know that they've hired a certain celebrity, and so you are hired as a voice match to either come in and do the same kind of thing, or if the celebrity isn't available, then you may come in and do sound-alike things that actually end up in the movie, but, you know, they can't say it's you, it's the celebrity. So for me, the only thing that ended up in Tangled, and they were like, we're so sorry because the only females in it are Mother Gothel and Rapunzel. But so for me, whenever she's like, woohoo! Or like, ah! Or like jumping and swinging and like flopping on the ground, all those little reactions are me. So, and, ooh, one other fun Tangled story is that I got to sing the I Had a Dream song. So she wasn't available to record when the orchestra, and they had this big chorus of singers to play all the bar guys. So I got to go in with the full orchestra and all those chorus guys and sing her temp tracks, which was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. So anyway,
Thank you so
long
much.
story. But
Thank you.
and feel free to start throwing things if you guys like, get back on track with Rick and Morty, if you want that, just like throw soft things though. Throw like,
Popcorn.
What's your favorite or most memorable experience recording with the cast of Rick and Morty?
Gosh, you know, we never got to record as a full cast. So there were times where I recorded with certain other members. So more of the fun things were like when we went to Comic-Con and stood together, like those things were really fun. And I know Nolan North and I got to record together. He's done lots of little voices and stuff too. He was in the Keep Summer Safe episode, I'm pretty sure. But I can say, I know this isn't quite answering your question, but one of the really fun things is the first time that we went to Comic-Con, and I hadn't met certain other cast members, and Spencer Grammer and I saw each other, and we're like, hey, we had taken an improv class together, like a few years before that, when, you know, and we just knew each other from the improv class and had no idea that we were both working on the show. So that was super cool, and, you know, we got back in touch after that, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello?
So I was wondering, how did it go for Fully Cody was your first experience with anime? Were you thrown off by how bizarre the show was?
Yes, I was. The question was I thrown off by how bizarre FLCL was? My FLCL story is that probably a year after I'd moved out to Los Angeles, we still had newspapers.
We had newspapers back then that had little ads for actors. And they said, we're doing an animated show, come in and audition.
So I went in an audition, and they were like, hey, we really like you, or we'd like to bring you back for a callback, the second audition. We're going to send you home with this VHS tape.
Because I'm 100 years old and drink the blood of the young.
So they said, we're going to send you home with this VHS tape, and you're not going to understand what they're saying because it's all in Japanese, but just try to mimic the sound and kind of the energy of this character as best you can. So I take it home, and there's this chick, and she comes in on this Vespa, and she's like, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, but I was kind of like trying to take that energy. And I did the second callback, and they said, have you ever dubbed before? And I said, I don't know what that is, no, but I'd be happy to learn. And they cast me as Haruko. And then I got in, and the first few sessions, they had the clients come over from Japan, and I was sweating bullets, and we would do a line, and then there'd be like 7 minutes of them just talking behind the microphone and going like, so I was pretty sure the first 2 or 3 sessions that I was going to be fired. I was pretty certain. I was like, I'm not getting what they're trying to go for. I have no idea what's going on. They didn't give you the scripts in advance. So it was just terrifying. And so when I finally figured out I wasn't going to get fired, then I'm trying to just figure out what's going on. And if there's, was just like being thrown into the deep end of a pool and having somebody say swim, because I didn't know, you know, I knew some Dragon Ball Z, and I knew I had watched Eon Flux and one or two other animes, but I wasn't like widely familiar with it. So to have that one be my first one, after that, nothing could really freak me out, or like giant tentacles, you know, robots doing this and this. Oh, I got this. So yeah, it was very bizarre. Short answer.
Hi. I feel like I need to ask you this because I'm cosplaying Cicero tomorrow from Skyrim, and I was just curious what it was like to work on Skyrim.
I loved playing Vex. That was such a great experience, being part of the Thieves Guild. Yeah, she was just kind of one of those badass characters that I just really loved playing. Yeah, I have good memories of that show.
Thank you.
I should say video game.
As Fu and Samurai Champloo, what was your favorite scene?
Oh, Fu and Samurai Champloo. I have such a soft spot for fat Fu, like whenever she would eat too much. So, and I only call her that because she calls herself that. But I loved, like, whenever I overeat now, I just rub my belly and I'm like, oh. And I just like, that's a point of pride. I just love that. So I did kind of love that. And I just always thought Jean was so draining. So like there were so many scenes with Jean that I was just like, oh.
Never Mugen. I understand. Alright.
People are always like, were you Team Mugen or Team Jean? And I was like, Jean. But like, professor thing with the glasses and long hair. I don't know.
I understand.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi. What are some roles that you auditioned for that you really wanted but didn't get?
Oh man. Oh, I almost can't say because it's too heartbreaking. But I can think of one in particular where it came down to me and one other actress, and we went through multiple auditions, and I really wanted that one, and the other gal got it, and she was great, she was wonderful, but that one like kind of ripped my heart out a little bit. I loved He-Man when I was a kid. Like I had my Tila action figure, and so I was really bummed that I didn't get anything in that He-Man. Curse you, universe! So,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Archer, how did you end up playing Anka, and how awkward was that in the movie?
Oh my gosh, this is the one where I've got to really keep it PG-13. So Anka in Archer, probably
couldn't be in this room.
Probably one of the filthier, more embarrassing things that I've done. And the funny thing about that one is that I recorded my audition from home, and I remember out loud saying, oh God, this is one of the worst auditions I've ever done in my life. And I just hooked it up attached it to the email and just hit send before I could think about it. But I literally thought, this is one of the worst auditions I've ever done. So I get the role. And I go in there, and let's just say that there were a lot of dirty sounds, you guys, that they had me doing that didn't necessarily end up in the show. And it is so embarrassing when you actually run into people. Like, you know, I'm in one room recording, and then there's a pane of glass, and then you see the engineer. And the directors were phone patching in, so they weren't in town with me, they were over the thing. But somebody showed up that I hadn't seen in a while, and he and his wife had just had a new baby, and I'm like doing these filthy sounds, and he walks in and I'm like, oh, hi, how's your new baby? I'm so nervous. So yeah, he brings that up every once in a while, like, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
In regards to Skyrim,
yeah.
Are you more Team Stormcloak or Imperial?
Gosh.
Personally.
I don't know. It depends on the day. Can I say that? It just depends on the day. I wish I had a better answer to it, but it's just like, oh.
For the noise.
When it came to recording with Rick and Morty, which episodes were your most and least favorites?
Okay, so.
To record.
Yeah, to record. I just loved the Keep Summer Safe episode. I just, that's you. That's how you talk. You know, all of you have loved ones. All of them can be returned. It was like just so messed up and just delicious. I loved that episode. I loved the Time God episode. Gosh, as far as the least favorite ones, I can't really think of any. I can't really think of any that I didn't enjoy. And somebody was asking me this, I think, earlier today, as far as any side characters other than Rick, Ship, and Jessica that I played that I really liked. And I can't remember, maybe you guys remember, but in one of the earlier episodes, there was an old woman that worked at the bar.
There was just an old woman, that craggy woman that worked at the bar. And I loved playing that character.
And I loved, it was really heartbreaking to kind of play Rick's wife. And that was, I don't know, you know, because like as funny as the show is, that just kind of dipped into this side of Rick that for some reason I found very sad, you know, and his backstory and just some things about him that, yeah. So that, I don't know, that stuck with me a little bit too.
What's the strangest thing one of your fans has ever given to you?
What's one of the strangest things one of my fans has ever given to me? His underwear. I am not joking about that. He asked me to sign them, and they looked clean, which is the only reason that I agreed. I was like, please let these be new right out of the package. Don't think about what's going to happen to them after he leaves this place. Just sign and move on. So, yeah, that's probably one of the strangest. And then I also had somebody have me sign their body, and they were going to get it tattooed later, which I thought was interesting. So, I don't know if that ever happened, but wow, there you go. I made it, Mom! Yes, you can. Speak to the world.
If you had to face your school with the episode where praying mantis virus came about, how would you have handled that?
Oh gosh. Okay, here's just what I have to say in general about. Oh my God! Her soul has left her body! I'm sending it back! Bless you and your descendants. So anytime there's something like really awful or apocalyptic that happens, I feel like there are two kinds of people. There are first waivers and second waivers, right? There are the people that want to just be knocked out in the first wave by the apocalypse, by the giant praying mantis, by whatever it is that's bringing Armageddon, and the people that just want to survive to the bitter end. They want to, you know, eat leather and trek for miles and find shelter and, you know, cut off their limbs for survival. Like, I'm a first waiver, so I think I would have just, that praying mantis would have ripped my head off and that would have been it. No, I just, yeah. I don't think I would have done very well. That's all I can say.
Among all the silliness in Rick and Morty, what was your favorite serious moment?
Probably the stuff with Rick's wife. Yeah, just because I think it just dropped that little peek at who he might have been if he stayed straight and wasn't drinking all the time and messing up the universe. So, yeah.
Hi again.
Hello.
what was your favorite part about playing Shannon in OKKO?
Oh my gosh. So I played Shannon in OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, and she was so extra. So it's just that fun, like they'd say bigger, more, and I was like, really? Because you know, when you get used to people, and I can go there. I can get really big. So they just let me go crazy with that character, and I remember that I got to sing the diarrhea song in one of the episodes, which was a first. And then they were going to get a different singer for the Rad Loves Robots episode, the love ballad.
Yeah.
And I was so bummed because I sang, but you know, they wanted like a more operatic singer or something, and so I was really sad. And I was like, okay, that happens. And it didn't work. And so they're like, we just thought maybe we'd give it a shot and see if you wanted to sing it. Just try to sing it, you know, pretty. I gave it a shot and they kept it in. So that was another thing that I loved. I liked that show.
Hi, I was wondering, as a voice actress, what are your like top tips for like keeping a healthy, strong voice?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Keeping a healthy, strong voice. I can say that there are some throat lozenges that we all swear by in the voiceover community called golden throat. They're Chinese lozenges, and they're amazing because they don't dry out your vocal cords, but they're really soothing. And I'm a sports fan, and I used to be the type of person to scream at games, and now I just aggressively clap, like my friends joke about So I look like really aggressive and angry because I can't scream anymore. Because if you go to a concert, if you go to a sporting event and you scream a lot and you have a job the next day and you can't perform, then sometimes you may lose that job. So taking care of your kids. I feel like I remember eating. I just don't remember, you know, hooking myself up to a crack. They brought it back, at least for a while. I was like, that's the power of the show.
It came back again.
Did it come back again?
Yeah, I think it's next week it comes back.
Yep, next week you come back.
That's just amazing, you guys. That's freaking amazing.
Hi, so I was going to ask, what was it like to try to voice a body switching episode in Ben 10? With Lancaster blend body and vice versa.
You know, I'm trying to remember that specific episode. Gosh, I don't know if I can. I mean, I remember the episode, but I can't remember any great stories from like actually working on that one. It was a lot of fun. And we did get to record as a cast with that show. So anytime you get to work off of another actor, especially with a body switching episode, it's so great to have the other actor in a room with you because you can immediately say, and I think we did this, okay, so what would it sound like if you said this line? Well, I would say the line this way. So then the other actor would be like, okay, so I'm going to say the line this way. So yeah, that's one of those great things about being able to record together is that you can really give and take.
Hi.
Hello.
In your entire acting career, what was your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement?
So far.
Oh my gosh, I feel like that's such an epic question. I'm questioning my whole existence right now. Man, my greatest achievement. You know, there have been a few defining moments like along the way, so I can't pick one, but two quick ones. When I was 5, apparently I told my parents that I wanted to voice a Disney princess one day. Not be a Disney princess, but voice a Disney princess, be the voice of one. So when I did Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's beginning, I got to voice Atina, Ariel's sister, and they came out with the little figurines for all the sisters, and it was like Disney princesses. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I did it. Like, I got to sort of be a Disney princess. And that was a big deal. And then when I was in probably 8th or 9th grade, I wrote to Andrea Romano. Do you guys know who she is? She is a famous, legendary voice director. She directed Batman the Animated Series and did all the casting, and that was a huge influence on me growing up. Like one of the things that really made me want to get into voice acting. So I had gone to some bookstore and looked up some general thing with her address in it, you know, which, you know, it was for the studio or something like Warner Brothers Studio. And I wrote her a letter, and I was like, one day, I'm moving out to Los Angeles, and I hope that we get to work together because I want to be a voice actor, and I love how you direct and cast Batman the Animated Series. And years later, for Ben 10, I walked in the studio, and Andrea Romano was directing, and I literally had to just sort of look at her and walk into the booth so that I wouldn't start crying, because it was so profound that, you know, all those years later, somebody that I had written to and respected so much was actually, yeah. So, it still makes me kind of tear up a little bit when I think about it. And she's a baller, you guys, she's amazing. She's amazing. She's retired now, but if you don't know her career, you should do a Google search for Andrea Romano, because she's paved the way, not only for voice directing in general and for cartoons, but for women. Like, she's just one of my heroes. Anyway, my heart.
If you could visit any world in Rick and Morty, where would you go?
Oh my gosh.
I love that question.
This is a really hard question. It's Jerryland. I love Jerryland.
Not Jerry, oh no.
Oh my gosh. I probably just laugh all day long.
Just Jerry's everywhere.
I do love the world within the world, like the little Cosmo within the Cosmo, and they don't realize. Like, so there's something about that just, you know, where you just become a god of your own design. I think that would be kind of neat. I think that would be neat. I don't know if that counts, but let's just say Jerryland. It's just Jerry daycare. Solid choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, if you've seen it, how do you feel about the video of that guy standing up on the McDonald's counter screaming about Szechuan sauce?
I have not seen it.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm both terrified and intrigued.
just look it up. It's that.
Very popular
Justin Roiland has
video.
seen it.
Okay.
He said it was really weird.
I know what I'll be watching.
It was really fun.
Definitely watch it.
All right, I will.
Secondhand embarrassment.
I know you're all sticking around for the prizes, so we're gonna. I feel Matilda coming up for like trivia.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
So we got, what do we have, like 5, 6 questions?
We've got a few more trivia questions. You guys up for it? Okay.
Work out the arm, you know?
Are you sure?
Nobody needs to hear this voice more than necessary.
I don't know about that. What is the vampire gym teacher's name?
Wait, did you already answer one?
Nobody knows.
All right.
Anyone else? Oh, okay.
Red. Sorry. Redhead.
Coach Ferratu?
Coach Ferratu. Best.
Thank
Nope.
you.
Best dumb joke in the show.
Best dumb joke ever. Oh my gosh. this one just makes me laugh too. Oh man. Who is the longtime family friend Beth shoots?
Oh.
I'm sorry, what was that? I'm just kidding, I just wanted you to say Mr. Cooper Butler. It is Mr. Cooper Butler, who I'm going to say is another character that never fails to make me laugh and gross me out. Okay. Who are Rick's two best friends?
Squanchy and bird person.
Yes! Bird person person and school on two. Okay. What should you never say to a Traflorkian? But you were denied your moment. Okay, we'll keep this.
What are you doing? What did you not say?
Oh! It is not that. Okay. Anyone? Oh, somebody going back in the back.
Much obliged.
Incorrect. Oh, incorrect. Oh, wait, we got somebody way back there in the yellow sweatshirt. Yellow sweatshirt. We see you, yellow sweatshirt. Stand and claim your prize.
Good luck.
Yeah! I was going to be so sad if you answered that wrong. We set you up to succeed. Okay, so I think this is the last one I have on here. What game does Morty play at Blips and Chits?
I saw Gray up in front.
I see this guy here.
Yeah, that's the one.
This is the first guy I saw, maybe.
Troy, I like to love it. Right? Troy.
No, you're so close. You're so close.
Wasn't it like the life of Roy?
He has it in there.
He does. I'm willing to give it if you are.
Okay, it is Roy. You were so close. Give that man a consolation prize.
Yes. Consolation prize.
You were so close. I was just like, just take that.
Consolation prize.
Okay. All right. So we've got a few minutes. There's two ways this can go down. If anybody has a burning question that they must ask, this is your time to do it, or forever hold your peace. Or I can just say thank you guys so much for coming to the panel. Anybody else have a burning question?
You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. That's not a question, but that's so lovely. Oh, you do maybe have one more. Make it a good one.
Sure. One, what was it like being a woman in the voice acting industry? And second one, how is it like talking to yourself as the ship and then summer? Because you're just like,
I actually don't do summer. I gotta give Spencer Grammer so much credit for that. So I didn't have to talk to myself because she does summer and she's amazing at it, you guys. But as far as being a woman in voice acting, that's a great question. It is very, very competitive. There's kind of like a little thing that they say called Smurfette syndrome. Have you guys ever heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's just a phrase for if there's one girl and a bunch of guys. So with cartoons, for a long time, that was sort of the trend. You know, you'd have 3 guys and a girl, or it'd be a team of 5 guys and 1 woman, like, you know, the A-Team or G.I. Joe, you know, this sort of thing. So not only were there not as many jobs, and there's still not quite as many jobs, but it's getting so much better. But also, there just wasn't as much of a range of parts, and so if you didn't have a certain kind of voice, then as a woman you didn't necessarily get cast as much. But the awesome thing is that there's never been a better time, and ladies, I don't know if there's anybody out there who's interested in being an animator, a storyboard artist, a director, a voice actor, anything. This is the most amazing time to be a woman in cartoons and video games because there are so many more female directors right now that I work with than men. There are more roles than ever for women. There are women creating shows that are getting made and actually show running the shows. So it's actually, I think, a really exciting time to be a female in the voice acting community.
What's your favorite Fish Hooks episode?
Oh my gosh, I can't pick one. They're all too good, but maybe when she talks about tacos. She's like, let's go get some tacos. And then we'll shop for clothes. Yeah. The slumber party episode. Actually, okay, I take that back. The slumber party episode is my favorite. Yeah, you know.
I was going to ask if you could say goodbye in your voice from Fish Hook.
If I could say goodbye.
Just what you've done.
Yeah. Listen, you guys have been super. Like, not really super, but kind of super. So go out there and make this con your... Okay, I can't say that. But you know what I was going to say. You all know what I was going to say. So go out there and you just make this con yours. Now, that's what I'm saying. For coming, and I just really do appreciate it. I know I have one more signing tomorrow. I can't remember what time. I'm stalling. They check the thing and the thing.
Keep Somerset. 12 p.m. and then meet Kari Wahlgren.
Okay, yeah. So I think I've got a signing tomorrow at 12, which is my last one. If you have anything that you want to get signed. If you're thinking of getting a new tattoo, I have experience with signing on acceptable body parts. And I do have one more just kind of Q&A panel tomorrow if you think of a burning question that you didn't already ask. But thank you guys so much. Love you.